All right, welcome to the next installment of the State of the Union. What day is today? It's 2019. It's the first State of the Union of the new year.
Yeah.
We've been working on some stuff in the background. Some stuff is sexy, some stuff not so sexy, but we're here to bear it all for you. And Jason, you want to talk about some of the new stuff that we've been kind of working on?
Yep. Yep. Always working on new stuff. Yeah, I think so. The big push was in December on Christmas. We released the what we were calling the 1.0. So that was kind of our big milestone. Get it up before the end of the year. We did. And so our next big push that we've been doing is to get it localized. So we have partners in other countries that want to basically do the sales and stuff on this. So that's our big push, is to get that going. Let me. So that's what I've been working on. Let me figure out which one of these Skype things is share screen. There it is. And I have to click that button. Okay, cool.
Oh,
Did it share screen?
yes, it's sharing. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, so I don't remember if the last State of the Union did this, but it's like we got the dashboard in all the way, so we got pretty pictures and things, and I am not creating strategy settings to do anything great with this test account. So there's a lot of reds on here, and yeah. But yeah, pretty pictures for a lot of these little things. We'll be improving and updating these charts a little bit better. But for now, these are just some of the ones that we put in. So the big thing that we have been working on this week, though, is changing to a different language. So we had one of our users. Oh yeah, so you can see down here in the bottom corner, real quick. There's like we're showing the BTC price. My locale is set for English, the US. So put the little flag down there, make everybody a little happy. Let's see. So Klugschnacker, I don't know how to say that user, but we have this awesome user that helped us with the German translation. So a little flag change, and I'm on euros now. And so yeah, we for some of these things, I would have to actually to see this language list in German. I would have to set my computer to German locale and then restart the bot. But basically on the front end, we're using that setting now to localize the front end. So um, Schnacker, sorry, I'm abusing your name. He did helped us do all this stuff. So he did all the translation for this. So yeah, it basically goes through, basically going through the whole app on it.
And speaking of
Um,
translations, we have others in the works. We've got the Japanese and Korean, and we have some other people that have come on board. Anybody who wants to help translate, we've got an easy way to do it. We've got a spreadsheet you can help out with, and just put everything in there. It's good for us. It's good for you. We haven't really figured out how we can kind of reward people for helping. I mean, we can't give you the world, but we'd appreciate any help that you can give. I think the only things that are really tough, like we talked about, is maybe Arabic, because it goes the other direction,
left to right,
yeah,
yeah,
or right to left rather.
right to left, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So stuff like that is just while not impossible, is also probably not the lowest hanging fruit. So we can visit that at some point, but we'd like to get as much of these in there as possible. So all the keying is in there. And it's just literally the work of translating the text and getting us to hook it in. So
Yeah, and I think like we said, we've tossed around, you know, uh, extending, like, for our VIPs, they will be getting, once the clouds release, 6 months for that and everything, free with a bunch of things like that. So we've been talking about, if you can help translate that, we either do that, or, we're willing to create like a new sort of level, like an elite level or something, where just these group of people come in, and there could be something we don't know yet, but forever attached to it. I don't know, but we've tossed around a couple things. So obviously, we're not expecting people just to come in and be like, hey, just give us your time and everything because you love us. I mean, we want to definitely give something back longer term for somebody to be able to do this. So Yeah, there'll still be TBD, but we got the German stuff in, and I think we have, yeah, like you said, we're working on Korean and Japanese. We have, let's see, we have Turkish, we have Portuguese coming. I think we have on the list like Spanish. Um,
Well, there's a
I think
Russian too, I think, right?
Russian, yeah,
Yep.
Croatian is another one. So yeah, we had some people come forward that would just be like, yeah, I'll help. So so yeah, we're making progress on that, and I put in the release notes for this release that the localization, as we consider, the quote full localization that we have right now, covers about like roughly 90 8ish percent-ish around there. There's some things like that we still would need to do, like on back testing. We're missing a few things, like so for here, if I went down to do my conversions and stuff, we're missing little words like approximately and stuff. So
Right.
we have a few little places here and there, and then also this text that we're running from the back, when we basically, which pushes all the information of the strategies to the front end. This is still stuff that we'll be adding in a little bit later, but again, the majority of this thing is like 97, 98%, um, localized and translated, when we add those different languages. So um, yeah, it's
Cool.
pretty cool. Good progress, I think. Um, yeah, what else have we been doing?
Well, besides, I mean, there was some, some back end stuff. There was obviously always bug fixing and things like that.
Mm,
Um, we definitely polished up the order book matching, and we think that it's at the point where
mhm,
that should be pretty polished and should be being pretty smart about when to execute an order and get you in and out at the right time. Um, we still want to put more strategies in. I think we've just we kind of went on a bit of a feature freeze as we did these other things that we thought were important. Anytime you run a company like this, or any business really, any kind of endeavor, you're constantly having this I won't say struggle, but conversation about what's most important, and
mhm,
why, and how do we ladder those. We have those conversations every day.
yep,
I have a list of things I would love to do all the time. You have a list of things. Colin has a list of things, and all of our users have lists of things, right? And so we kind of have to prioritize those and figure out what's kind of cool. So I think what we're looking at right now, as far as upcoming features, we've got Jason's been doing some more. I had a little bit of a sneak peek on settings. We had users and us as well. It's like the next evolution is like, wow, it'd be really nice to be able to save some settings, right? You'd think it's pretty
yep,
intuitive. And so not only have you started to put in a way to, save and load settings, but I believe we're talking about being able to share settings between people. This isn't marketplace. This is more like a community type thing where we understand that it's kind of difficult to sit there and take screenshots and try to enter things back in. It's just from a usability perspective, it makes sense. So that's coming soon. Um, we
yeah. Let me see
talk.
if I can pull that up real quick
Oh,
too
sure,
while you're
sure.
talking.
Yeah, and I think what else we had? We have. We talked about putting the manual buy and sell buttons. Look, in a perfect world, you should never need those, but they're nice to have. It's like insurance. I don't need
Well,
insurance, but it's nice to have.
some people want to have that. They want to be able to have like a button where they're just watching something on the bottom, and they're like, "Hey, I want to get into this, or I want to get out of this." It's
Yeah,
not like just a panic sell, right? And I think the natural extension from that is, once you get that in there and you get the framework in there supporting that, then it's not like a step that's that far away. It's like once you click that button, pop up a little dialogue, and it's like put in your target bid or ask, and then the
right.
bot will execute it automatically for you, right? Um, so yeah, I think it'll be, the um, initial thing, which everybody expects, kind of like a panic sell, but like anything, we'll be building off of that pretty quickly. So let me see if this works. I pulled up my branch for testing, and it only works on dual EMA. So yeah, the idea is like, here you go, see settings options.
Oh,
So
I have myself.
we'll be having the settings here. You'll be able to load them. Um, and once I do something here, the save will be enabled. Share is going to be cool. So, you basically be clicking on, this is how I demonstrated this to Jared. You click on the little share thing, and imagine that you have a little dialogue like here that's like, hey, enter with your name of this, and they'd be like, this is my, or I would say my great dual EMA settings, and boom, you hit OK, and you'd be like, great, we saved your great dual EMA settings, and then the other thing that would be good about that also is for sharing, then, we will give you a JSON representation of this, and then you can just, again, you can play an imaginary world for a second. All your JSON stuff is in here. You know, this is very low tech, but this would be the idea, right? You get your little dialogue, you're gonna copy, okay, great, and then you can send it off to somebody, boom, they load it, and on the load, it's like you could either have a drop down list of all of the ones you've saved, and or that little box, you paste it in there and it'll pull it right in, right? So it's
Right.
like, it's basically the save becomes enabled. Once I fill all my values in, doink, and then, now I can save my settings. So that's basically how that's going to work. It's going to be cool. And what this helps build on also is this, again, this is all steps. So this is the next step to then basically having trades that you can edit on the fly.
Right. That was the next piece I was going to go to. Because we talked about all of those things, and the reason we talked about all of these things, why, is because you're excited about getting Analyzer back in, and so am I. But I was, we kind of had a discussion about what other things can we throw in there before we go off on essentially a much larger piece, right? All the code is there. We've talked about it. We've talked about the users. But what's changed is what, Jason? We talked about the architecture of how we're pulling that data in and where that data is going to live and how, and it's a bit of a rabbit hole. So
Yep.
Structurally speaking, it's all still there. It's just we're trying to figure out the smartest implementation so we're good for the future and we're not retooling it too much as we go.
Yeah, I think what we're leaning towards is what we've learned with our users is I will stop.
Just switch back to your face so we can be.
Stop sharing the screen. Stop sharing. There we go. So yeah, I think what we're leaning to is as we've seen with the users and everything is that it's probably better to have. In this case, a more centralized, data source. So, we can push out the updates and troubleshoot it fairly quickly and independent of, somebody's setup. We've seen a lot of people with, some setups where you're just like, why is that? Oh, your clock is out of sync or whatever,
Yep.
It's just like things that people aren't really going to think about, right? So, there's risks obviously in centralizing it. We're in a decentralized, mindset and everything with all this stuff. So a lot of people don't want that. But I think for the beginning, again, to get the V1 out, we're gonna go back. We're gonna pull up the old code. We'll put the centralized candle store up, and then we'll hook Analyzer up to that. And then again, that's gonna be like the first step, and then we'll take the next step to do bigger and funner things, Combinator. There's, once we get that central data store up and everything, then it's like, then we can start doing a lot of really cool things. All kinds of stuff I can think of. So, and
exciting,
way more stuff about that than I do. So.
Exciting stuff too. Like I know we were talking you're like, I hate forms. I'm like, I know, dude, but like I can't do it. like I want to go build strategies all day, but I need your help with the forms. So it's like, we have to get through some of this to push forward and get to cool stuff.
Yeah, settings is very boring grunt work, but I think I will get over it once I can see people, being able to share. And actually, in our testing, it's like, God, man, I wish I could just load that thing up.
Tell me about it.
So, yeah, it's just like, that's why I was like, oh man, I wish I could somebody else to do this. But yeah, so that'll be in, what did I say, Thursday? It'll probably be in by work, the saving and loading probably early next week. I don't think this weekend, we'll see. And then, again, once we have that, we'll do a build on there. We're going to be getting more translation packs in, so we'll be, pushing those out as patch releases. And after that, then the next big one's going to be editing the trades and panic button and, then
Yeah, I mean,
stuff like that. So.
it's like, yeah, it's stuff like that that seems, from the outside user perspective, it's like, well, what's the big deal? Well, there's a lot of pieces that need to be hooked in and things that have to happen in order for that stuff to work. Um,
It's
Believe
just
me.
a lot of like it's sometimes there's just a lot of tedious work, like stuff dealing with like forms and saving into the database. It's just like there's a lot of tedious work involved with that. So, um, yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
it's like any job you have. Like everybody wants to be excited about their work, and there's going to be times when you hit like the doldrums, and you're like, oh God, I've done this a million times. I don't do this again.
oh yeah, that's one of the
You know what
things
I
you
mean?
never
I
look
get it.
forward to. You're just like, oh, another sign-in form. Oh, yeah, but again, I think it'll everybody will really like it. And I'm actually really excited to see what. So we had a conversation today about what is the settings going to be like? What's it going to do, for the marketplace once we get that in with Visual
Hmm.
Strategy Builder and stuff? And I was kind of thinking like, oh, I don't know what that would do, 'cause that could be good or bad. But, thinking about it and talking it over more, it's like, I think what we'll end up seeing is the, these groups of functionality would be segmented pretty clearly, right? It's like Visual Strategy Builder, you know, is the only way that you can get, strategies into the system when we finish building that part, right? It's sharing these settings is like a
It's
more low tech, but
it's
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 also
caveman tech. It's nice
yeah,
now, but yeah,
it's like but it's like the hashtag Twitter thing, it's just like it's a simple way for people to communicate things, outside of like the utopian, like top of the mountain, golden
right.
trophy, way that we want Visual Strategy Builder to be. So I'm really interested to see in what people are going to be doing, and we're going to open up a special Discord group for settings and stuff. And it's funny because the other thing I was thinking about too, it's like we've been through two botting communities already where it's like,
It's evil.
one
Yeah.
where the settings were totally abused by certain individuals, and then the next community was like, you're not allowed to do settings, and it's like, in this one, we're just kind of like, cool, let's see what
Yeah.
people, do with
Right.
it.
Of
And here's
course.
a channel for it. Go for it,
Right.
you know?
And the
So,
difference between like sharing some settings in VSB with a marketplace is, in my visualization, is once you have this massive, 50 indicator, multi combinated, quasi crazy strategy that you can build as a pro, right? You have all these chaining that you can do when you buy the pro license. You can chain together more of these indicators. Not only are you building the strategy, you're also having to populate that with parameters within that strategy that make sense and are profitable. And then you have to trade that in our platform in a way that those trades are verified. So you opt in,
mhm.
those trades are happening, and you can't fake it. So you can now not only have you built this thing, you've used it, you've verified it. At that point, it's kind of a commodity. It's like, I can make a little money off this, or I've got 5 that work really well, and I kind of want to make some extra cash off these other 4. That's what that's for. It's not like we're not going to say you can't share settings. In fact, you should probably, if you want to share your settings for free, we'll probably allow that too. But
Sure.
it's just one of those things where there's no. I don't see the danger or the vitriol or the poisoning of a community by being allowing people to monetize things like that. It's just as simple as that. So,
Well,
um,
even freely exchanging them though, it's like you don't even have to sell them. I mean, this sharing the settings for the pre-built strategies that we have now,
yeah, it's nothing.
um,
Whatever.
nothing wrong with that. It's
No.
super low tech, and I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I think people, because we already have people like coming in like, hey, what settings should I use? So already,
Yeah, and we
people that
and we try
just come in the
we and
group.
we try to make our best to make these good defaults, but like, dude, there's so many ways to skin a cat. Like,
Yeah.
um, you know,
Well, that's the whole thing though, right? Once we get Analyzer, back in a way that we're happy with it and everything, and then you have this easy share setting thing, it's like that's gonna really, I think, I think they make it really easy, and it's going to shorten down a whole,
Yeah.
like, you know, part of getting people in to where they can just jump in and start,
Yeah.
crank it.
And to be fair, look, there's only 5 settings. I still have to finish the Ichimoku video. I still have to, tweak that thing around. There's still more tools that go into there. There are, at least I saw at least 10 other indicators we need to put in. We probably need more confirming indicators. We need the MACD in there. I got to get stochastic RSI in there.
Right. Yep.
There's like a lot of stuff. And, personally speaking, my life got kind of busy recently. But all of these things are coming. It's just we have to ladder them in a way that makes sense. It doesn't do any good to have 20 strategies if there's still like bugs in backtesting, or if you can't edit a live trade, so ping pong doesn't work as well, or if we find out there's an issue with trailing or whatever. Who knows what? You gotta ladder these things in a sensible fashion. I think we're doing a pretty good job of that. If you don't think that, then feel free to blast this video in comments or yell at me in Discord. But I think we're doing a pretty good job so far, and I'm very excited to hear most of the feedback from the community has been really, really good. That keeps me going. I love to hear it.
Especially when, we think like, oh God, this is sucking, and everybody's like, hey, you guys are doing a good job.
Or like, well, I was just telling you, I'm like, I'll be in DM with a guy, and I'm like, oh my God, like, dude, I'm trying the best I can, and I'm, furiously typing out like paragraphs of things, and they're like, well, dude, hey man, just so you know, good job. Like, I'm really excited. Like, I'm like, oh, I, totally misunderstood what you were saying. Because a lot of times, here's the other thing, you only hear consistently, nobody says, hey, this works, amazing. It's always like, this doesn't work, or this doesn't work. And I do that to Jason.
Why am I getting this result? Or,
right. I do that to Jason all the time. Jason could like rebuild. He could like cure cancer. I'd be like, well, that was kind of slow, dude. Like, I think you missed, one genome or whatever. Like, there's typically you want to like find like problems because you're trying to help, but it's just it feels more negative because all you're hearing is the negative side of it, right?
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is there's a difference between the people that use something and the people that build it, and the people that use it don't understand how the people that build it like dissect it and figure out how things are wrong. There's some pretty good systematic approaches you can do to how can I reproduce this, what was this setting, okay, one at a time, not like let's focus on one thing, so it's like you've been through that like enough times like I have. It's just like, okay, cool,
hey,
let's
I'm
triage
guilty.
all this stuff the right way.
Who's guilty of that, Jason? So I've learned how to step back and go, okay, because I might see like, oh God, this is all broken, oh my God, and homeboy's like, look, dude, just let's get it in an issue, and very methodically he'll go through it, and we'll get on a call, and within a couple hours things are fixed. So it's just it's kind of cool. It's a fun process, no doubt. So anyway, long story short, cool. Things are looking pretty good. So hopefully you guys have an idea where we're going, what few new features are coming up in the next dot releases, and where we're going with status of analyzer. And once all of those things are in, and we feel good about it, it's probably more strategies. And because I think that's an asynchronous process, my team can work on those. I might need to lean on Jason a little bit for some of the form stuff, maybe not, but we're going to work on that while he gets to work on stuff that tantalizes his brain. Some of the other larger pieces that we put into our black paper that we want to get in. So that's kind of where it's at.
That's obviously everybody, it's the analyzer, and then, the VSB, the visual strategy builder. I think once we get those things in there, then it's like, that's going to be the big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think the vision is, at that point, our static strategies are going to be just the handful of ones that we like. The ones that our team comes up and we think, you know what, these are core. That come with the bot. They come pre-installed.
Well, what we'll do too is we'll convert them over then to the the visual strategy builderized version, and people can look at how they work. They can tear them apart, rebuild them however they want, right? So it's like, they'll serve as like pretty good strategies and stuff you can also use to learn how to build your own. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yep.
So,
Cool.
all right, man. Well, that's all I got for this installment of the 2019 State of the Union.
Yeah.
You good?
Man,
All right, folks. Well, I think that's pretty much all we got. If you got any questions, leave a comment or jump into our Discord. We still have an open channel for any questions or concerns. And until then, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Yeah.